about Soloplex area.
H-I-J.
Thank you.
Next on.
Like this. Yeah.
Okay, I can drop it down lower.
Okay, go here.
More.
That's better.
Okay.
And you are good to go.
Yo, Darius Britt here. Now, if you watch my channel on a regular basis, you know that I'm a big fan of the H1 Zoom recorders. Been using these guys for years. I recently picked up the Zoom H1N recorder. When I got out of film school years ago, I lost access to all the school's gear that I was using. I had to rent and buy my own gear, and needless to say, I didn't have much money. This was the first actual field recorder that I purchased. It was affordable, super simple, and easy to use. When I learned how to shoot without a crew, these guys were a big part of that process. I mostly use them as a wireless lavalier system for recording actors. I throw a lav mic on the actor and then I toss this in their pocket. But I've also recorded Foley, sound effects, I've recorded ADR with them. These are dope entry-level recorders and they're awesome learning tools for anybody who's just starting out. Let's look at the 2018 version. On the top, we've got integrated stereo microphones. These mics are good for recording ambient sounds, Foley, any audio coming from multiple sources. We've got an onboard gain dial for manually adjusting the gain. You can adjust the input without affecting the sound. With the old style recorders, you could hear your gain adjustments when you press the buttons. We got a 3.5mm line-in TRS stereo input jack for external mics. On the other side, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. This little guy records to micro SD cards. It's got a speaker on the front. It's not the greatest, but you can listen to audio playback if you don't have headphones. You can record in WAV or MP3 formats, 16 or 24-bit. It has a low cut feature. The low cut helps with knocking out the clothing rustle, the wind, air conditioners. Now this has a limiter. A limiter is supposed to prevent your audio from distorting if things get too loud. I don't use this for narrative work, but I can see this coming in handy for run and gun documentaries. There is an auto level feature. I don't use it. This recorder has pre-recording capabilities. When you press record, it can start the actual recording about 2 seconds before you pressed record. Very handy for doc shooting or guerrilla filmmaking. While you're recording, you can leave markers on the bits that you like. You can also see the markings in your editing application. You can actually power the recorder on the go using a USB battery bank. The battery life's supposed to be 10 hours, but I haven't really tested this yet. If it lasts like 6 or 7 hours, I'm a happy camper. I didn't pick up any RF interference when streaming videos on my phone while recording, which is important because if this is going to be in your actor's pocket next to their phone, we wouldn't want your audio getting all messed up. As of this recording, the Zoom H1 is officially discontinued, but you can still pick one of these guys up in some places for under $100. And the Zoom H1N you can find for like $120. In the original design, the stereo mics were more exposed. In the new design, the mic cage is more reinforced. The gain inputs were 2 buttons on the side of the original recorders. The new recorders feature a gain dial on the front. The old style took 1 AA battery, the new style takes 2 AAA batteries. Many of the settings on the side of the Zoom H1 have been moved to the front of the Zoom H1N. Many of the features on the back of the original have been moved to the front of the new recorder. I think this actually works better. All of the settings are in one place. Oh, and the new recorder also has a limiter, whereas the old one does not. I'm not gonna do a sound comparison, they both sound the same. You can record voiceover or voice work just like I'm doing here. This entire video is being recorded with the Zoom H1N. I use them for narrative filmmaking, but you can use them for weddings, prank videos, voiceover work, you name it. If you've got a camera that doesn't have an external mic jack, you can record with this and sync the audio later on in post. You can use this as a man on the street interview microphone. Just throw the little foamy on there and start recording. If you take a 3.5 patch cable, you can record directly into your camera. If you're running audio out of the Zoom right into your camera, you can send a tone so you can set the levels in your camera to match the levels of the recorder. You can also use the Zoom as a preamp for better audio. You connect the mic to your Zoom and then you connect the Zoom to your camera. Make sure to check your levels and you're good to go. You can set this thing on a table with some little baby sticks and record seminars and presentations. You can mount this at the end of a mic stand with a mic stand adapter and record your talent. This is a really good alternative if you don't have somebody to hold boom for you. You can fit this inside of a shock mount and mount it on the end of a boom pole. If you're on a budget, you can record 2 actors with 1 lav mic and 1 Zoom recorder. I gaff taped this lav mic up Travis's arm while he's holding the phone, so it's gonna get both actors with one mic, and we'll see how that sounds. Maybe we'll throw another mic in there if we need to. As long as they're within 3 feet of each other, you're usually okay. You can record voiceover or voice work just like I'm doing here. This entire video is being recorded with the Zoom H1N. Here's a few issues I have. The build quality isn't the best. It's made of plastic. It doesn't feel premium. I could probably break this thing with a few good drops. It is what you would expect from a $120 recorder, so be careful. The 1/4 mount on the back is plastic as well. If you use this a lot, I could see it getting stripped out over time. It takes 2 AAA batteries. I would have preferred AA as they're more common, but hey. I have never had a problem with the mic cable disconnecting in somebody's pocket. I hear that it can happen, but for narrative work, I've never really had a problem with it. Now, if you're using this as a wireless system, you can't monitor the audio for obvious reasons. But if you set your levels in advance and you check for any audio issues like clothing rustle, you're usually good to go. The hold feature doesn't hold the gain dial settings. There's a chance that this can move around in your actor's pocket. If I were shooting a wedding where this is in someone's pocket and they're moving around all day, that's when you'd lay a strip of tape across the front just to make sure it doesn't move. You can get some handling noise with the mic if you're not careful. Getting a hands-off alternative is an option, but if you've got steady hands, you should be okay. If you plan to do a lot of outside shooting, you want to put a windsock over that foamy. The slightest breeze over those mic capsules is just gonna destroy your audio. If you want to use smartphone-based lavalier mics like the Rode Smart Lav, you're gonna need an adapter like the Rode SC3 cable. This turns the TRRS connection at the end of the Smart Lav mics into a TRS connection that the sound recorders can actually work with. I now own 3 of these bad boys. I usually have at least 2 on set, 1 per actor. These guys are cheap, they're versatile, they make for great backup recorders, and they should be in every filmmaker's kit. You've probably seen me lugging this organizer around on set. It's called a power packer. Now there's a lot of little cables and adapters and accessories to keep track of, and this little thing helps me keep it all organized. Without it, I would literally go crazy. Links to everything that I mentioned are down below, and if you want to hear what these bad boys sound like in a short film, you can check out the last short film that I shot with them. There's an annotation over there. Thank you for watching, and D-Bird out!